Let's talk about market. You think on Amazon, like the so big spends over there, what's not really 11 million was talking about PC Pro, like everyone knows everybody money. I've seen one face outside of money for that's kind of gas that $2 for everything, $1 makes cost actually increases over there. I just want to see a little bit of how to make this book out. Like you can't really tell out the gas the one for you can really done that. A year and a half is talking about value. I invested 30% of my field, so I'm going to day to use the something about this is the about you right there. So that was to go to you'll add the report of the conversation to go to a little bit the way the well, suppose it was about like the client give them an outsource of how to supply it out there, but even what you can provide to increase revenue by trying to 25 in 5 years. Only but stay involved now, it's all with H24 as a TAA, bubble, hyperbolic, so you can make some of my stuff, or with care people back. You can have it, double digit, so I never was those manufacturers, that's what they make it, sort of educating, but we were really kind of take over the same time to people, individual, and Harvey's get education was it was something that can be come to talk about what process can explore, we said that's one value policy. Players are talking to the lawyers, but this is NDCA that absolutely value about which way the words that revenue bubble, lots of people saying how much mentioned about revenue product. It's always when the valuation of this was Nasdaq around the AI. In fact, the common depends on how well they are when you talk about what you say, what AI want. When talk about Microsoft and then the big organization, going to be about the way to struggle to make more exposed to AI and value and place where which is about because the versus that it was AI justification comes to be against and the problem was the AI uses to takes by the power BI. Here uses there is warming target forces that shift driving a shift to a new industry now that first positive uses the comments mixed by John Solomon 25. None of us changes away from fossil sort of renewable market facilities. General topic knowledge to go to international markets from it. To the industry of American creates some second the neighbors and ships and federal policy comes out. But the part of the use argument for competitive and consumers in the national community could American comes out in the area of consumption use a use in the channel discovered. Neutral and even new goals to cover the market cap. So you got here's my advice from Paul Glasgow renewable. Energy cost obligation lower energy costs economy of customer. Renewable energy solar cheapest than electricity demand shows that dominating EVs utility make people to do investment just survive politician advice. The companies that are based in sustainability market forces all carbon changes to talk about that. The second motion charges of renewable infrastructure required for sustainable AI development, agency 25. They estimate the general dimension of the year's electricity prices and energy. Cost of US electricity commission concerns are recently for the 1.5 billion. The gauges of electricity increase of 35 to 128% and electricity costs the year's double time translated to electricity price by renewable energy government subsidy the use of these amounts to supplies that one third and five China and green energy less than one third China industry development. China consumes now providing the energy, but Canadian use to add vote lots of foster independence of the transition to public 25. Noble are running for his aid and domain about renewable scaling up and availability. I guess as much as the renewables have AI, which is the consumption of the percent of renewables AI and industry has to go faster than lucky possible dependence even as efficiency of the industry otherwise. There was very tech more efficient because there was a greater productivity and sensibility. I think becomes a consumer exemption so we got energy use college shots 6 to 20 effects by the energy comes to 6 and 7 was to that's what the stable common cause what these emission discharge to the level linear consequences that what is the most oscillation to the linear are first of all time is casting a bit more broad changes as my influence not only water bleaching and passing across the mouth possibly talking about I see all these because I shall as well level rising in the then I was able to come second feedbacks and upper plus kind of really well to sphere positive which is twice can have to positive to that should actually was under the way this is to cover adventure to Felicia Chanio 23 I tried GA and job cover with your output church trust in the air about the building construction over very sex I don't know the one of the how to forget conduct and zero on work leading I don't really spends about a custom that beginning comes out fairly benefit coming work a lot bad simulation and the some algorithms that they just try to resolve the court takes about the indoor construction adventure that USA industry was advisor 21 leading AI functionalities as well. I'm ready to access the company TA AI industry to make out been working TA with one person next to which is very long section of it company 6 hours is really to the time I can about script and also significantly involves the less play the United States should make the algorithm construction of everything for financial copyright by artificial intelligence advanced systemic risk challenge calculation was never and also even part is he emphasized several lessons to be based on regional benefit science and innovation strategies take actions to take application which helps versus limited source of it attempt that the community value is going to investigate about the next control of the most fancy check and drug wants to know about the policies and sort of control much tries to be more efficient and little research there's at the times as news very market which is sound market names are almost largely chance government system to live with the world trying to sell my conservative SMSC and all of the discussed no leader and AI market construction is the key to only W25 determined use of people as those in the market starting 1970 long-term stabilization of markets USA it's happening off the representation of the reliable partners unique and the big ability to build markets will determine the nation's economic dominates globally, so many people across the global market, scalability, the market entry, but everything AI tech is also ability to be proud to make it access to product, which is the thing for us to be so glad. Develop partnerships with the emphasis appreciate committed advantage global investors conference, channel investment by infrastructure, because actually the country the investment for very long term strategic applications, these are investors across the America, Latin America, and Southeast Asia, and creates giving China, giving China, those equals from creating the AI markets and Africa and Southeast, other market incentives to implement use AI, innovation, child data, first move advanced AI, design American business, access to local manufacturing capabilities like Chris Lewis, one escalation fail in Trello 25. There was this meeting AI, beating China, the allowance to believe that based on the early advantages of the market capability against the Swedish friends, there's some assumptions future worse than not Taiwan, Taiwan, exposure, output into the games, against the South governments, and frameworks, and actions of the representative AI, generated for AI, not talking about ways that continues. Underlying stability, but stability, brings of Taiwan, extension versus isolation, polarization, self-promoting policy, ethnic, government more evidence that we don't similar to between China's defensive and reaction to the US policy and the Texas both sides perceive as 0 saying 25. I also accelerated AI arms and US notice accelerated race and chance protection. Setting up supporting academic times articles I despite safety and reliability because of the events of the necessary to use equal strategic discussion of the transfers over the body government and the source of ability because the defense system. Restore those strategic balance to the wild and rapid unusual AI definitely global system. Any conflict escalates going through the US China use a single exchange China strong the US and general members of the government strategic English and usually against China landing show against strike efforts on retaliate SCPM. There was a leading strike body change and level 2 strategic stability saying 25. US AI strategy if they wrong for knowledge China's policy field by anxiety in China. Instability in the both the gap AR race. There's the model of both countries and investment as the global AI race and become something of policy. This is a resident of strategic stability and diversity allocating and the manner. It was to lose also winning pressure and winning the ways of unsafe AI enabled ability against its risk. Proper regulation of the internal AI desire to lead AI norms of transability and government significant movement. AI education undermines all three components that cause distinction. So at all 25, military example, attached to getting new options for cameras and able constant time tracking applications enabled to systems everything but the ability to the credible mortality strike and feasible ability to the advancing office. And basically basically regulated companies for this advisable AI ability whether this is to launch AI stability ability to target basically advantages using Malaysian price stability. Mentioned by AI is when it's speed based and base that make it accessible to leadership of the activities such as the actions and the plans remedies top the journalism and show class in class 24. The tools equal posts class like give us when journalism have upload make one. That's to check back and shows at 22. Journalism supposed to come up to the investigative journalism LP leads on the investigation could change the design for output. Officials of Alex and Gomez and officials covered word less than the constitution, market constitution, democracy constitution, not and double 22. The democratic governments are more important as human faces economic academic several human rights. I still know. Good. Yeah, hold on. We can go ahead and start though.
So the first card says that AI is doomed to fail. So why is the app inherent if the app is just AI being bad?
What do you mean by that? Like, why AI seemed to fail, China would need to fill in. You want to answer?
Yeah, the app is not about like it's about AI being bad, but it's about fueling bubble further. It's what causes all the negative impacts. So the first advantage is about how every second that AI continues to be invested in makes it like so much harder to like it's in like stuck in the infrastructure, meaning you can't pull it back out, meaning that like it fuels warming that much further, right? So all the first advantage impacts are about like sustainability of AI. The second is about how like further military integration of AI like fuels the architecture.
What's the internal warming?
Sure, China having the renewable infrastructure to sustain AI development.
So China AI good.
No, it's about US fossil fuel dependence. So US AI development means that we cannot develop the renewable infrastructure that we are on track to develop now. That like we both this reliance on fossil.
We both said that China AI would be able to fill in, but also that US AI development leads to this fossil dependence. The topic evidence is really specific on saying why renewables in the context of like in terms of the International Energy Agency, it says those renewables would cause a lot more AI electricity demand than it would output.
Okay, so China renewables, I got it. Which card in the 1AC says copyright?
The Feliciano Tano 23 evidence, the
Where's that?
Reisner evidence, like you want me to read?
It's the last two parts of the first.
Last part of the first advantage, and why does this specifically, this is not our generally, how this related to integration and military?
And what do
Like the.
you don't think it's
geometry
about
part is
copyright?
about-
What's, I think this is a new question. What's the question?
I'm asking, like, the card talk about Gen AI,
Yeah.
how's that related to integration with military?
So we have, our evidence talks about how the two internal ones. One is that like. So like military contracting with commercial AI companies fuels military AI integration, i.e. like the DoD is partnering with Google, OpenAI, Meta, etc. Like they rely heavily on GAI. Second is that overall our military capabilities include AI that's trained on copyright.
Back to advantage one, why does war become extinction?
Sure, there's a few reasons. So first, the SPRAT evidence talks about irreversible tipping points. And so we don't know when those tipping points occur, but such as loss of glaciers or loss of Arctic ice, which causes the albedo to decrease, which warms the planet. Right, but lots of like when, as well as warming of the ocean and other, etc. Like positive feedbacks as well. Like, you know,
And actually, I would argue before the. Yeah. Here it is. Go ahead, guys. Thank you, thanks. Apologize. It's off. Then I'm like.
Yeah.
There are version access and start with Bible discussion 4A. By Christ rejecting the recession and how they can access or getting no recession, biggest access. They want to be experiencing this as a big bullshit. Because we're bringing out the best of hope. We've got we're told that if company zero rejecting stock volatility, who on the market rejecting daily. I want their prosperity countries to come forward with the willingness to negotiate. Trying to cooperate protection creates over some forcing those others out of love from work country protection. I love it and we love it. Protection of cooperation concerning by self enforcing. Rich pay versus down, voice vision, additional advantages of the or concept protection of time, training examples, cooperate, protection for the IP. Thanks to the protection, assignments and innovation, horse overall economic, other game. I go watch cover protection, cycle innovation, successful protection of these words again, which now since project can be from overall economic cover, thank you, Senate, for actually answer oversight number, here the cover of the made up, loser, new industries that are new world, I come and change the extinction, transition words, and emerging tech, growth 16, the lateral system, purpose, economic, strong US, they are, never are not going to be, but control against the stability, the legitimacy, aggressive for the party, and over the contest, efficiency, he was China, Russia, and where it's not, never Germany, they come out, global framework, even which change dangerous, no government within the US, US leadership, engineering, growth, they buy bring it down, that's the thing, I'm like, you take with them to find the economy security, all regards to applying for necessity, the algorithm to show the algorithm, make that destruction thing, or even version of copyright by artificial intelligence, carrying the jurisprudence to explode property rights, do copyright, solve the study document, or restrict that in the accountable, I think are well, the board of responsible testing, you only evaluated by pandemics are being effective, responsible for application, hell, they wait. This will be responsible, you respond to a hello, by white things, careful responsible for rights, for them because they overrate, for people that have injuries, they all relate to, share, for questions, there's a little incentive, you something like creating over insurance, multiple needs, worsening disease, needs that are functional, solution, accepting on contact from, liability, solution of the stomach, right, so with access to everything with that permission to order necessarily, do or incorporate this option as, therefore, other options, there's something in common sense, like for possessive devices, depends on shelf any liability, no privilege, I'm now well contemplated judges deciding matters that I only consider for action from other directions that become appropriate discussion there, no optional impediments, connection to address the deficit of extinction, category 1, the impediments that are human life, discussion, spread of diseases, agreement, and thus covered simulation to reveal the risk to the medical notes, at least, feature extinction, emergencies, and regularly extinction event, global risk of accident, small vaccine, large population risk, increase with the mobility, extinction spread, will affect every person that moves cities, the quantitative assessment, we enter barriers like disease characteristics, results from real extinction, subjects, any throughout the
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that's WPA, relationship, function subset, those regard anything else, anything that's specific corporation structure, financial delay, every drop generic, something that's generic, united program, make an accurate, algorithmic structure, accurate by existing corporate intelligence, yes, we are saying for taking intellectual property, basically spoken category with identity protection and voice, after doing that's the case, the 24, after generation, protected by existing doing all the access to the representations of protection by a combination of senators who can make it difficult to determine rights as a result of some success the court choose the right they want, although the court might not object over the exactly right as to that particular right should be enforced excluding their rights, grant special legal protection rights enabling instruction existing IPR, do these things excluding their rights and makes them copyright trademark rights will do not be really driven this center idea on there's laws and ameliorate the defects of preventing encouraging nation every group legal environment back there like that's the ownership of back artificial intelligence and rule customary obligations in each other for posting treasury copyright dimension CLS powering body with state and senate personalized generalized legal necessary but to external grants without 16 whereas CIO is less an obligation with an international obligation that grants will take consent general sentence of Mary submission of a from interpretation you were there with your victim to permit actually permitting and courtesy allowed language that says legal order and contrast to the state bases are something like CIO will relation to this international structuring more complicated than both actually also the CIO and the thinking and goals training and financing minimizing climate and releasing the use of our best addressing your goals no comment no comments there emission control no special comment actually all the workers that are made by because the extended increases our national variability students are the technical change and extreme weather unprecedented prosperity will make population increase on that will but that country will increase in 80% one but around preventing the rest that's rough and main for that can capacity recover that's it observe repeating nesting live extreme actually for rock you went up and then very realistic and realistic about national emissions tracking about low extreme medium maybe 0.5 degrees Celsius and after variability and this is the expect ice could be significantly lower reasons accelerate no problem case I'm missing given that we also superiority probability of risk human adapted and extreme power worse now BCT consider taking point size AOC permafrost Amazon and which based on different panels from past shorelines I can have a great is climate that should be could be because when you go war local really catastrophe moving into the cause wars intervening author make sure that you found 25 get development addressing international system coming back as a environment I guess in the common clear and appears the wing directly and risk environment words not regularly robust and the comparison review on red cover very really faster than migration and other studies that just standing or training last week suggestion of evil I think my research here to fight either cause your hand fixing me difficult consider by the thought yeah good advantage to strategic ability is wrong. Weak nuclear force not strong enough to prevent adversary armies. And I was talking about using the Trump country only strategic ability to China's Russia with arms or through the break out of nuclear vessels of and nuclear state support to get American nuclear forces to weaken is progress as the Japanese Americans claim to protect broken China and Russia. Your record shows one side Russia cheating China showing interest in other things that Americans disarm. Your Trump doesn't customize the answers proven. Regulatory share bacon, and I think we have 50 marches that best, unfortunately, I think, the company loves hundreds of studies to work on research during a week, not a coalition, and data this is more than a list of 8,000 articles, distinguished by complacent party, and determines seem different, democracies are more peaceful in general. Whether factors included democracy theory of that exists when both have high levels of wars and democracies are more likely to fight each other. A war best explained by continuing with the end the alliance and economy. It's just an action of the side found. Let me get a check. Casting myself warming prolonging warming what's in China, sun Russia, listen, I've loved her to me for, not China, congregation, rupture, sun Russia, relations, Russia, Russian, construction, version of it, seems to be my, explained Russia, moving the train, diversion, of force, much further in narrow, more base, warming and then warming gets in Russia, sourcing electric, against the Russian, in weapons creation, nation made, encourage mentions in the Russia, the country, what should be said as a solution?
The democracy bad, so.
Yeah, sorry?
It's the democracy.
Yeah.
It's only a week back. What can mark that part?
The current, as a solution.
Um, sorry, was anything skipped with one of these? Sorry, I was saying part of that there.
Like a goal this time.
Okay,
Yeah, stuff on the track.
yeah. So that's about. What's the name of the band kind of thing?
It's internal and copyright.
Copyright? Okay, why do you not think banning artificial intelligence is bad for growth?
Bad for growth, what do you mean?
Catalan bans artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Do you not think that's bad for growth? Question mark?
Why is growth if you want to?
Let's also talk about this link to copyright. Since, rich get richer, lobbying by copyright. Why in the world of Trump tariffs were they going on and off, like on and off tariffs, nobody knows what's really happening in the global economy, is like growth high now. Yes, like stock market had its lowest drop, like highest drop like months. So.
Our deepest evidence actually prices like, well, again, the Trump removed most of those tariffs on China, and like 2 days ago,
That's
wrong.
wrong.
Most most on countries other than China, and like a few days ago, he excluded Chinese tech from those exports, those tariffs, which is most of what U.S. imports.
But also, do we have a necessity kind of like text?
This is not
Yeah, wait, yeah. What's that about sweet? Copyright too. How does sweet function if you have copyright in the plain text, the mechanical text?
It just does the app through a sweet registry.
Yeah, but it says as a remedy of infringement of existing copyright. How does that work?
Yeah, but it moves all the copyright with sweet generous.
Sure. I wanna talk about. I guess, what's the internal link from AI copyright protections to innovations and overall economy?
What do you mean?
The DA, obviously,
Terminal for what to what?
the internal link, the Connor 13 evidence that talks, like, why do you think copyright protection is key to the overall economy?
The kind of evidence is pretty good because it ensures that works never enter the public domain, which restrains, it picks for the winners and losers and restrains the wealth.
Yeah, but what's the internal link to that, the overall economy? Like, when is the existence of AI copyright?
Talks about the copyright to rent seeking and other non-technical behavior.
Yeah.
Stop for a second. I'm pretty sure you all did not send out the correct 1NC uniqueness card for the first diss ad. Am I wrong about that?
One he read was from April 8th, the one in the doc is from
It's from February 17.
Okay.
I looked, thought that was a 4 for some reason.
I want to make sure that we all have like the evidence that was read in the debate.
Yes, thank you for that.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Systemic risk. T. Necessity. Ban AI. Sweet generous. In the lobbies. Yep. Case 1, 2, then T. Necessity. Ban AI. Regenerate. Lobbies. China and India don't drop, they drop the only parts of the renewable energy transition happens globally. The only thing is the US renewable transition does not happen because of AI, which completely dropped it. All the every internal link of the I thought the warming impact their defense is wrong. And as soon as IPCC reports as fast as they're openly conservative, they don't assume positive feedback loops that are connected and non-linear. They create tipping points which are unpredictable and cause cascading events, emissions, glacier melting, acidification, guarantee extinction. That's crap. And it's the warming does cause war. It doesn't matter because our impact is not about war, it's about the climate change probably and I'll answer the democracy stuff here. I'll finish the 2AC card or the 1AC card challenges that John Mark. Challenges only be met with democratic governance. Democracy holds promise accountability for meet these threats. Humans deep their psychological needs. If democratic qualities are not met, as humans grasp for destructive ways to meet them to seek power through scapegoating groups. And the democracy difference is wrong or impact is not about democracy going to war with each other. It's about democracy being inherently stable within itself, which means the cause of the lash out or not be as effective. And the warming goods stuff, climate change, collapse, destruction. Paper 22. Will Russia win on oil and gas? Central industry seem to land produce lose productivity, climate bring costs from frost, wildfires, heat waves, unpredictable social and political consequences. And if they finish the term, we get new answers. And they independently drop our terminal unique claim that the AI bubble is doomed to fail, which means that you know that the economy will inevitably collapse because of the AI bubble in the first place. But it's not quite AI development will triple electricity demand to outpace supply. That's my man. The great collapse cause extinction. 316 civilization cannot exist without electricity within a supply of a couple of power plant generation run out of food telecommunication studies have no water, exhaust food, or health operating in unmanaged result. It's will collapse and systemic risk. They only read one stressed out wrong part, but it doesn't assume that AI is being integrated into nuclear systems now. Their part is just about other tech advances, but it doesn't assume how AI gets integrated into nuclear systems, which undermines all three components of strategic stability and cause extinction, because it undermines second trackability, creating a user-literist mindset. That's the thing. And so they independently dropped the arms racing, which caused escalation in the first place. It accelerates hotspots over Taiwan, but they dropped the China only integrates as far as the US does. That's a Grayland and Crane evidence, which is they also dropped terminal unit against China with the stack race. T. 1. We need any infringed copyright receive protection under the Act. 2. Any subsets, KC09. Any civil bounds or area of interest are completely or continuous inside. 3. Lit transmissibility. Active proceedings are granted. In specific case laws up to the IP makes it impossible to prey under the inter. 4. Over limiting courts broad and generic has to lose space and generics or counter inter, their inter plus power app solves 5 functional check log ban IP cafe all check 6 activation burn for after legit solvency active raise the barrier to entry and solves are often 7 reasonability voice raise the bottom of the substance card and on necessity 1 perm do the act require the USFG to find that only safeguarding against passages requires applying Tortious public necessity that causes a direct application of Tortious public necessity that overcomes any deficits strong setting up firm text. 2 is certainty. Copyright owners only take the big text to court if they have an extreme legal certainty. That's the political content. The counterplan means that anything can be declared to fight pathogens. Trump will just say that getting immigrants out of the country is key to stop pathogens, and RFK it's literally a vaccine denial. They can say anything, and they just take people to IP that causes massive legal uncertainty. People are unwilling to go to court, and there's no net benefit. Ace litigation if the right about licensing agreements not solving because of private interest. Those firms will tie up the process of litigation. They won't just accept the implementation of the necessity doctrine and visa spillover. One instance of the application is not fully integrated into IP law, even if there are no doctrinal impediments or some, because their evidence says it already plays a significant role, which should spill over. One is Heller 21. Necessity already plays a significant role in limiting IP under property law, or traditional solvency counterfeit not solve future pandemics which require new innovation. The counterfeit only allows them to share existing methods to develop vaccines. The app is the key to pandemic prevention, and there's no impact to disease. Taylor 23. Pandemics not access through pandemic on the extinction human described plagues and past human with described most of the pandemic. Some groups isolate, some groups remain unaffected, some groups have greater resistance, but others and others medicine reduce transmission, medical system have significant capacity to mitigate terminal spread, and perm do both. The prior binding application is not necessary, and perm to counterfeit should. It's not certain immediacy. RC 10 policy can challenge and action was taken. All cases policy can should act. Any action will be taken. In most cases, by exception, are acceptable for good reasons. The process counterfeits are voted. They destroy. Argument division destroys topic by monopoly consult the evidence overvalue trivial method of turning depth and clash of core controversies, and perm to the app. The counterplan on the issue. John will also send out that text. Counterfeits must be textually functionally competitive. Maximizes the domain comparison. Works and objectivity on the band counterplan. One perm to both. It ensures no AI will compensate and create. Two perm to the counterplan. It's the only functional way to ban AI. Three, it can't solve copyright. It's the only way to do algorithm construction, and it can't solve journalism. They need remedies. That's the Felicity Chano, and they dropped the internal link to the journalism, which says that only applying remedies which pays journalists for their works is able to revitalize the journalism industry. Meaning the counterplan definitely can't solve. The counterplan doesn't solve the downside risks. The Davis 24. People assume generative AI is all there is not the case. Calculus application AI, not generative AI, predictive analysis application AI, not generative AI, statistical generative AI will not really the future. If AI is to be a true game changer, will be through some application of AI, probably to be predictive in AI. And predictive AI is key to sustainability. Government trend framers are facing a harsh reality. Farmers to the left to draw water, helping farmers get precision acts, helping farmers get better. Embracing farmers revisiting our relationship to irrigation practices, making based on general feelings, information available in one place, and can how so emotion would be affected by factors, temperature, humidity, when translated to predict the algorithms, work can be job. Precision acts, helping farmers do better, and fish is becoming an even bigger problem network. Values for delivering water automatically. And two, banning AI without justification links to no benefit. Because it will cause people to lobby against other counterplans. The three circulation of the plan works, but banning ads legally unenforceable. The Tar 19. Debunking seeds of the use of decent development means that it possible to train AI with the first broad class machine and banning harmful AI is going to ban harmful statistic bans on killer robots seem reasonable to the derivative as far as package delivery jobs. Killer robots AI is not a technology that can be controlled as an abstract term for decentralized study. Even the US plans to carry little importance with the world. They ain't conditional economists, whatever destroys our research class by incentivizing quantity for quality and less than they can take out ad hoc and abstractions are good for research classes to solve. They can take French theory and on the CIL. One, their card says CIL solves warming. They literally read warming back term. Two is rule CIL under strengthening tariffs not unique to the app just why because it's not functionally competitive. And Johnson next house. CIL defines broad norms. Clock 2020. CIL is less sensitive representative for abbreviation of undercutting efficacy. CIL does not conform to rule of process. Messy and disconnected is contingent variable outputs, fragmentary characteristics, not clarity or uncertainty. Last mechanism to regulate particular position are not sweet generous. One perm to both shields. Two perm to counterfeit. Three perm to the app. Three sweet generous. Switching. Four perm four at least in a benefit. Obviously gets lobbied against. They literally have the word copyright in the counterfeit means it's identical to plan and can't solve certainty. Driver, except is not sweet generous completion of the scope of right. Loopholes mean maneuver legislation completion or uphill liberal legends to do the complexity difficulties on chain right to do a part of the process to determine cross by certainty from above. And on lobbies here. One, Trump tariffs destroyed global econ. Heard by 47. Wall Street point information loss of falling in north. We US services global economic growth leading US index group. Flood the beer market economy, the oil price saying will show global economic growth future. Trump tariffs charged in long criticizing economists, especially business leaders. U.S. isolation will severely limit economic growth. Recent tariffs will increase inflation, will slow down growth, and no link plan would be lobbied against. Big tech doesn't like it, and their uniquest card concedes those consumer confidence is probably predicated on tax spending, which still is not 100 and from Donald Trump senior counselor talking about Fox News. Come on, man. We read yellow, right? Because when you pass big problems, capture some Mr. Trump's senior counselor and harmful Fox News was lower, we can consumer confidence doge. Yeah, and they conceded that AI bubble inevitably burst, and the McCann card says that 33% of VC is tied up in that, which means that it causes widespread economic collapse. Big seven of which is like 25% of the stock market does collapse. AI bubble burst the entire market. McCann 25. Should the bubble burst? Venture funds over the extinction inspired markets dependent leading to economic contagion, given how independent growth of the markets have become, and there's no impact unique to recession, natural part of the cycle. .com, 08, COVID, and incoming recession. Economic climate discuss more about something economic condition, much about likely to war, depression, or powerful laws everything. A lot more years of report recession. Yeah, has thought 20 wars unrelated to the economy, no matter what the economic condition. Market economic condition.
I'm saying, thanks to that behalf.
You're saying no.
Yeah, the projects.
Okay, so.
I'm good. Whatever. Condo process counter plans.
That's it.
Yeah.
Going on to, going on to necessity.
Yep.
What is this, litigation argument? No, I'm not, knowing that,
Yeah, so basically, if we win, that the counterclaim would cause a lot of litigation against USFG. It would turn the net benefit because it would like not create the spillover of applying the necessity doctrine to other places because government sees it as an ineffective solution. It would also mean that people probably sue and win back their IP, which means that like you wouldn't be able to apply the tort law in the first place, so you could solve for the patent.
but. So that's different from the other.
Yeah, it's distinct because the litigation argument is like tying it to the certainty DA about like Trump and RFK being able to call anything like a pathogen. Well, I forget the exact words used in the counterclaim. I think it's like safeguarding against pathogens. They could deem anything that because there's no check against what they deem safeguarding against pathogens. I.e., Trump could say, well, immigrants carry pathogens. Now, right now, it's a time where we can take IP, cause massive uncertainty, people litigate and stuff.
Yeah, on the start, like start EDA, what can you explain that?
Basically, right, the counterplan, there's no definition of safeguarding against pathogens. RFK, vaccine, like anti-vaxxer. Trump, obviously crazy. He can deem anything what he wants to be safeguarding against pathogens. This means that people are inherently uncertain about when the government will or will not be able to take their IP under the counterplan. Because the counterplan says that the government can take people's IP if and only if it's safeguarding against pathogens. But the argument is that that can be whenever Trump and RFK deem it to be, which means that they're inherently uncertain, and so they don't think they have the full protection back.
Real quick, journalism, what's the internal?
Yeah, the journalism internal link is about the remedies created by the plan, but not just like the destruction of the AI. It's about funding the journalists because they.
Why are journalists struggling now?
Yeah, Watch Evidence says that journalism is on the brink. They need more money to like recover and be revitalized.
What-
Even if AI caused that, removing AI does not revitalize journalism because they're being destroyed now.
But what are they being destroyed by? What?
Yeah, AI, but again, our evidence describes how they require the money because one, there's no reason why they would go after AI companies and litigate if they weren't to receive the remedies. That's the deep holistic value.
Okay, that's fine.
The second is that they require the money from the remedy to actually be revitalized.
Lobbies, you said something about conceding, like, something.
Lobbies? Oh yeah, I'll drop the terminal unique for the black.
You concede.
You.
I'm sorry now. Five. Sorry, how much? Five. Bad plan, bad moment.
Did Dan kind of play against one next year?
Yeah.
Donald Trump the Colgate's advanced professional intelligence, 018 card, warrant alive, and comes close to copyright, key punishment of property, 2 AI by measures on ground in the military. Meanwhile, the copyright, banned strengthening copyright protection to right on the NDCA. One was permanent growth, but you can't do it because it's mutually exclusive. The copyright bans the copyright for closing, strengthening copyright. If the government does the plan anyway, the course injection will be customary law, doesn't the credible doing the true was the copyright service for the whole app, when we issue for the negative, then the cancel stuff. The first card is zero. The Gilbert 22 card doesn't say anything about AI, which means you don't give them the precision AI stuff. The precision, which means you don't give them the precision predictive AI stuff. The Gilbert 22 and it just says that farmers are facing a harsh reality with farming, and it says that automation through delivering water with precision agriculture, which is not AI. This is just water pumps. They're everywhere. It's not AI. Those do not require AI. They're not said that they do. And we get the answer. Yes. Then the links to that benefit stuff. No, it doesn't link to it doesn't link to CAL because it advanced the plan which generates net benefits. It's still always require customers ready to proliferate to every relevant lane potential to support public goods, but it's preempted by completely treaty law. The government's side signals a flip of priority by overriding the treaty. State CL has always obligated the action regardless of consent that unlocks application broadly that's screwed up. Intellectual property is key. It's viewed as actually because of the critical role of innovation and development that revitalizes CIL. The net benefit outweighs magnitude of social threats like terror, pollution, nuclear, and bioweapons are proliferating global, but hold that's a part of response. Generalizing the global warming, but the CIL is the only hope that's screwed up. It's trying to climate pandemics and global war and envelopes. You want to hold CIL combining you with cities and producing consent and it solves fisheries depletion process. 17 customer but you know the trees undermined by the reservation because obviously the universal legality the unique selling point that shows how an NDCA because every global challenges as such climate efficient depletion of national security threats rules will be by all the stuff consider roots instead of norms will just within needs of first casting goes to their curve 16 fish road several entirely world super prime whereas these proportions scarcity can well environmental limited one a bar estimated full scale exchange one nuclear powers the stuff that the journalism stuff is completely zero because the reason the journalists suffer are because of AI. That's all of them want to see and to see evidence. Their journalism is about AI getting rid of journalists' jobs. We should solve the root cause. The remedies are not key. We're not saying that remedies are key. The remedies are only key in the world where AI exists, which is not the world of the capital, which means that is zero. I'll do content here.
Not only again what we did, one flex one capital energy, increased protection of these nebulous required multifaceted testing outside by methodologies of the trucy, first last speeches, ground analysis, make plans, two logic fundamentals of predictable non-resolution rule, the next status quo, which should always remain the logical arbitrary rules, always the no rules allowing the action, allowing you to draw the math, every debate is placed in substance and defense, one division, utility, adding more advocacy, speak to the value, so there's strategic liability, two skew analysis, this has to be highly favorable case, reject this one, different one, different contested, there's none, the two force one for us, scan plans, one piece flex, three can't self flex, and one, three see the negative log, four research and if the string trends, the best target in three will always go for it and turn into the cells. It doesn't link to lobbies because it doesn't decimate the whole economy, and it is clearly AI is unpopular because of multiple reasons. Because people don't like their work being stolen, which means companies will lobby for it, and so it doesn't link. The firm. It's mutually exclusive. The current bans apply the rules custom implications for close doing over copyright. Don't even answer clarification when you're spending two first writing the important skill is dealing with the national championships. They should have been prepared. Even if you do work for the team, they read the offer this person legitimate because it adds function. That was supposed to be only functionally one round in terms of the benefits. Get erased the days in topics for several farmers if you hear text writing improves first level as well as risk evaluating doing offense job sharing sexual competition is the resolution which has predictability despite the expect or any random abuse. Other terms of finality checks because you choose the plans words per game to bring checks get chocolate the web function to fish shape or from dash plan to be added this had the certain plan function by extraterraneous words text and for textual without calculating text function 5-year world decision making valid policy based real function out text word relations break function first there are bad to play not that's unpredictable. The TV card says nothing. If the scale clearly goes over, the application of the plan is unique. It's unique to 3D law, both primary status and dependency diminishes the value of CL by requiring specific major issues like the environment, immunity, and terrorism, really more robust and independent customers are critical that screwed up. Now warming. Actually, yeah. Eventually. No warming impact, bad rejection, one bad rejection is talking is unreliable, it's too complex, two hydration to conclude the distinction NDCA US most manager reports because they're allowed to generate cosmos, and two is actual guaranteed adaptation, pushing will change human survive, even multiple wars catastrophes, so it's bad, reduction 3 periods, rally for weather events decrease, 96% of all global prosperity decrease, lifespan doubled, that's the tangential, 3 solar cycle, 25 cap 4 degrees, the report is 40, this has so celebrating with leading to reduction in temperature radiation leading to heating second 45 some will be the one is not fun during the previous motion for short cross response to Europe North America went to the defreeze glacial extended reduction of magnetic field in the coming minimum will increase ground phase which will lead to high floods atmospheric cooling and it's going to drop temperature by 1 degree with still an average temperature become lower than current 0.4 degrees Celsius higher than 1710 will can offset warming. I see these effects are localized environmentally successfully back rest of all 24 I see does not necessarily terms of using such geography or populations more extreme magnitudes not being considered special risk global emissions tracking along trajectory making more unlikely expected viability capacity to the rest of the right particularly vulnerable countries global studies suggest mass consolidate or drag even under ships and areas large scale ships not project trajectories exceed different points moderate probability of risk unlocked regionally is truly substantial are unlikely and negative feedback who solve those just 24 recent studies suggest one 2 degrees our solution has only effect rate 1.5 degrees Celsius human feedback study warming cause lower emissions was the previous attack of the emission results in fast reduction concede no to warming good and it doesn't undermine Russia. Yeah, now, that's true. Obviously, slowly down unique high-end 24, evidence from Western countries, developing armaments, such as nuclear, long-range repeated, cruise missiles, cyber non-analysis, China's national be serving the wild purpose of rights to destroy US. First governments to stabilize the installation for funds to start war when they're guaranteed to lose chronic 18, rise in the right one to conduct first strike again, stable non-compliance with non-full obligation, conventional aggressions of CPV, W attack, the ability to necessity, necessary to reassure, it is impossible to imagine President launching your first strike, or Russia, China, have the ability to do so, even if their employment enhances, bargaining leverage, using the losing new logic does not hold up. The superior state of change the ability to apply it, essentially lock the, against the state, security second strike means the inferior state will be, guaranteed the superior devastation retaliation, that sure that, which the itself, the opponent, argument does not make sense, the inferior state, never like, nuclear war, empirical record, I see that nuclear inferior state, being back down, nuclear crisis, nuclear inferior state never launched a new war, logic in 70 years, we're going to give strong reasons to be skeptical. Or to get skeptical.
First, CIL, your evidence talks about how we need like universal norms. Why does banning AI not violate CIL?
It doesn't violate the CIO because you not made a claim that it does.
Okay,
But,
cool.
I mean, I don't see what the claim is for. Why, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, your evidence talks about like universally applicable norms.
Yeah.
And so other countries, obviously Europe, they have artificial intelligence. Why does banning AI not violate?
There's other things countries ban which other countries don't have banned, like US federally has marijuana. ban.
So why is banning copyright somehow revitalize CIL? Just because you put the words recognize customary obligations in front of it?
It specifically confirms to customary obligations, which is how we get to net benefit, because it crystallizes customary and how we get.
What one in C evidence, where in that part does it say that banning copyright affirms like CIL?
The Bruno 16 part,
Yeah,
it says affirmations of CIL, which the counterpart text specifically says is.
cool, but yeah,
Does.
super germane. On the. On the warming stuff. Can you explain this like, the like the solar cycle thing?
Solar cycles, yeah, solar cycle 45, the sun has cycles, which cycles through. And the Strokova talks about how the next solar cycle, which is 25, uses sunspot, or I think either increases or reduces sunspots, which cools stressful.
Yeah, but then won't it heat back up again?
After like 60 years, maybe,
Okay.
when the next solar cycle, but again,
Yeah.
it's pretty specific.
Back to the
In recent years.
CIL thing, this fisheries thing.
Yeah.
Could you explain like what the internal link is?
Internal link is the cross 17 part.
What, how do you access the fisheries plan?
Scholars highlighted the inadequacy of consent in global challenges such as climate, fisheries depletion, and economics and security.
So doing things to help prevent climate change would access this,
What do you mean?
that you just read it to.
No, it's not about climate change, it's one of the laundry list of impacts.
It says that the internal link to that is the inadequacy in consent in global challenges such as climate and fishery depletion, i.e.
Those are
if we do
distinct.
things to help prevent climate
No,
change.
those are two distinct impacts. It's a, like, climate change mitigation, comma, fisheries depletion, comma, management of the dams.
This card says that treaties are undermined by reservations. Why would that, like, how does banning AI not create reservations among other countries about US commitment to CIO?
Reservations, I mean, I'm not sure how banning I would do so, I mean, but again, I've made the example, US marijuana bans, that hasn't been a reason why other countries don't pursue this for life.
I mean, orders, lobbies,
Be generous and,
lobbies compare.
Body degenerate and then what?
Necessity.
actually, the add-on version.
Right, one more time, the add-on. Lobbies. There. There. That's.
Hold on.
Add-on lobbies, we. Necessity.
On the hand, so,
Democracy, J6 proves.
the democracy Jason's proves, the norms are pathologically possibly meant to address the anti, there are, studies on the norms that weaken like the ability, there's another measure of norms, as ability, there's, the norms leading more, the violence, themselves challenge, there needs to be pathological study, they are peaceful because, they don't find common perception of democracy are peaceful. On to, lobbies, in fact, economic trade highways when transition when China Russia problems that cause the American system historically been more following the first attack of America or some regulatory escape which otherwise allows geoengineering projects and biology and technology trees 2003 cooperation only in American rules based on Oregon geographically the only risk of office that's all for that COVID in fact he's one and a climate equal across states America was running past other states and doing this to leader the more company takes it over like the risk of comment COVID is evidence Russia improvement China rolled through the SDS irrelevant clients that taking time or recession itself lots of people control everything else was recovery. Skip that card. Go to walk those neck one wrong what can happen to your company here through what's your reference and two turnover conclude that represent Australia's population blue like equal to war that's how well as for reference and three diagram listen words to the possible and leaves exactly that's also well for reference and skip that next card go to relevant as their ways, he doesn't include that diversity works and it's all about relevance growth to try to understand competition and mobilization makes where diversity were like they're in recession by 19. Politics means more likely to hold out in your position likely to give a opposition disaffected. I know exclusive public empowerment as a whistle I will hear about them whistle words and as source of affection really rather like and this takes a word opposition by strike and crisis requiring some and then maybe I have more sensitive engagement in structured behavior. The best studies that ever love and strongly supported observability theory, especially for US class 9 and 14. This one paper tests for fire but they are I will most detailed comprehensive data not include fixed and Russian invasion and aggression card there. Just Number second now, I'm glad women like all press both every stop in sky highways, every safer and spending unless people shop cars into the evening and comments directly tied with that conversation for running energy and tax policy. Lane 114 places shown turn around and sentiment people can go with the encourage the following the election the expectation for growth the lower inflation and positive conditions increase anticipation of growth is the policy that shifts in New York in the New York attack Trump the promise multiple words, one special spectrum rules I rushed now, but that's the only cause of one for 11 under a comment started Brazilian 25 numbers and now current state of pressure the event nature of not yet this only not for them like Western recession but we're they come down to the cement by the 2.5% I will tell you what happens during 2025 and do limit I 444 I'm worried that I dropped that I'm trying to pay that like market very solid my uncertainty I was like $228,000 well about the 100% job then? Good link. The brand plan protections are one levy, protection of copyright bullets, gun bullets industry owners, two levers are industry must expand further protection by lobbying companies and self-reinforcing combating protections over time. That's the most for reference. Two ship owners that makes the industry copyright rich and certainly rich to views to appearances and more copyright protections that's strong and for covers. Translating my head into the drill. Excessive copyright protection for a short economy, West Coast business, the copyright value documents, the type of competition and lots of new entrants of the market are professionally lengthened protection and showing a new innovation in the industry that's on that. And let me start, drive set businesses looking at the right and thank you. Reflecting on copyright policy and one needs more high growth startups, copyright can be used as a weapon against progress and default build and do the startups need balance to cover certain copyright frameworks that will their laws support innovation, but it's easy for everyone to get out by getting on their balance and both in the encouragement. Consider permeation, not going for not just rejecting, not just consider permeation, not going for it. And the committed carbons are with the same age or good when they gravity, and I sometimes anything my regression, I love doesn't by gradually, that's not character compensates circular advantages of case selection last week, check to arbitrary, there's no way to put the time about that, including unique trying to come about the generate again. There are predictions and negligence, the last of bright line, because of something, the three, I love it, the convincing opportunity of their artificial lazy out, if that's an income of something that for Commons, Western Key, whereas the top of process question.
Okay. We can. Then you can do this card, this card. I got the card, but we'll wait.
Well, that for me.
240. The sustainability advantage. The systemic risk advantage. The ban AI kind of plan, and then the lobbies. Yeah. But they don't have the dog.
Yeah.
That's cool. AI development triple electricity demands and outpace supply that causes a grid. That's my code. Grid collapse, inevitable excess, reduce lack of contribution resources, and spread capacity, no square, excess overspread, drop, impact, automatically outweighs the treatment evidence because of any miss of offense defense. No, continued climate impact by going for it, but democratic collapse is existential. Can keep the over excess of natural pandemics, climate and human rights, music, backside class, housing, and transfer, societal structure that's all about and Trump was they can see literally on the literally that's on the conscious journalists are able to limit Trump. That's when they see evidence, the joins the evidence also 0 points for white out and they didn't answer or explain their answers, so you should presume advantage 2. Concede the defense not going for it, advantage. Except per both, it's not mutually exclusive, just extend the first plank because banning I it will shield the logging DA per plank plus terror plank. It's just not because it's not just a DA from other issues would solve it because you do that new ban over another area such as plan it competes because it does not separate any words in the plan and they did not say it's functionally intrinsic, but it will win that kind of supposed to be textually functionally competitive. So distribute their model in the first place. One after functionally competitive alone means that after this is connected to unpredictable process catalyst. 2 research process catalyst cut block second overlaps with generic stage domain is the internal. Bruce the counter list the good and counter list is good, not that the after the best logical option. Scripts real clause may for objectivity, functional is arbitrary only. The text provided object stands and controlling to predictability, which terms variation limit changes. That's why people that stands above. No, some sources is not arbitrary because one the text, 2 is self-correcting because evidence of the part solvency cannot solve journalism. No root cause banning. Does not allow journalists to use licensing agreements to get money to combat democracy. Banning it alone does not allow journalists to be rewarding. Banning all AI does not get money into their pockets. That's simply how it works. Links to the they cannot solve journalism. Yes, AI root causes. They have dropped the warrant clearly. It's going to cause quash evidence of journalism on the brink. The only one reward bring level at 2 the zero enter the downside risk. Evidence Davis evidence is super specific to AI. Does not train on a copyright material predictive AI speed sustainable costs and water usage. Farmers are using now. The only answer was Gilbert. It's not about AI, but the article title is only AI helping farmers. About predictive AI helping precision ag and turns fishery and food security that never was CIO. Obviously links that bit of it. Banning AI will violate the CIO norm. That said the require the count of ban something that is fueling the global economy now. Drop circumvention. It's legally impossible to ban AI who bottom try to cross reports governments to classify what defines AI artificial intelligence to actually that's literal evidence of the person. But we're in zero risk of CIO evidence of zero spillover, nor have they read any evidence based on copyright because they have no evidence specific. Is firm copyright internationally the evidence is horrible, no impact except economy. I did not get a warranted truancy answer to this. So basically, mark as true as a mark mechanisms won't be enforced. CIO is always undercut by efficiency questions. No real risk they are magically going to be able to solve solve all these extras with zero internal impacts that they have read attached to them. Overfishing is a myth. Price 20 measurements working increasing abundance age study that give optimism that overfishing is not described. Everywhere else in centers but actually increased like gas levels are occurring more than we think because of polluting prognosis and fish stocks are declining. There are increasing previous sensor only look at reduce it. Gas too limited and anything else? Garbage. Welcome. 1 hour was unflowable. Strategy to 2 hours did not float in the 1 hour because it's air bubble. They also dropped the air bubble that specifically caused markets to collapse inevitably. So it's tried our app. One structural revenue publishes $2 for every $1, which the short scaling and commercialization loss from taking an increase of 11 billion next year to its height. And capital portfolios companies are overconcentrated. You see portfolios over 100 billion were converted to debt next year. It's a break even point, which is not contested at all. I'm not going to read new evidence because the webinar does not answer it. And also, the economy is terrible now. Diversity of work doesn't matter because we're just going for the economy is just going to be bad now, so that thumbs any diversity or worse stuff. In fact, in 2014 doesn't assume the COVID would have thumped it, but Trump's tariffs are destroying the global economy. It's causing global economic growth to sink. Oil prices are dropping. The futures market is slipping. So many economists have said this is a shit idea. Increasing inflation is not unique. Perception-based things. That's what's own evidence. So the Fox News report is going to be products in terms of that. It also says stocks, consumer confidence, and Doge all deck the economy back over 101. If you decrease government spending, then real GDP will decrease. The voice for 11 evidence is writer from NerdWallet, and it's just defining a recession versus depression, not having now broad forward evidence. Come on, it's about, it says -2.8% for the first quarter of 2025. If we experience another period of negative economic growth, you will officially be in a recession by summer. That come on, Jimmy, not that the Tory evidence is not that bad, but it still does not outweigh all the stuff above. Recession now, bro. For 8 economic recession alarm and consequences tariffs, emphasis of reduce all international trade. It's not going to decline sharply. And there are progressively long lessons to great question check 9 million for the US world. We're talking market collapse in history. And there's economies in recession for a highly recent great depression, ocean service, and warning tariffs, great deficit, and there's the process. And CIL fails class go governments go back on the CIL to 19. And there's a lot of technology components that have space of the CIL is also vital or the base even if the upon the consent of the city about legal obligations are created without a basis, market basis. Go back to the lobby TA, sorry for that. No internal link because buzzwords of currency and productivity is not going to fuel the overarching economy, but cyclicality dropped warrant that it's no correlation between recessions and war. That's the wall evidence that will not cause extinction.
Lobby ban AI. lobbies and then. Thinking about not going critical fatigue walls, there's no station for any kind of comments thinking no office flow. It was the end of speech, so they clearly don't get any answer for this. I'll go to the next one. The government solved the whole case. It advanced into artificial intelligence. There's zero what I see cards that say the copyright is specifically key. All of the what I see is just AI bad. Just punish Woodward for reading AI bad out. But the kind of advanced strengthening copyright protection, which provides the CNL extended that benefit in a completely outweighs the drop terror pollution, weapons proliferation, the derails cooperation. We're not going for fisheries, but they also completely drop global war pandemics. That's the cross card, which means that weighs on magnitude. I'll extend terror. The CL is key to prevent terror because it allows for countries to cooperate over terror prevention measures, and it is the fastest impact in this debate, which means you should clearly prefer their garbage created impact, which terror definitely turns. I'll extend pandemics. They're also the next global war. They're also extremely fast. CL is key to check back against global war because it prevents legitimate CL is key to check back against global war because it checks back against countries going to war unreasonably. That's our proximity evidence. Now I'll answer for both. Not going for lobbies, which means this is zero. It only shows lobbies, so not going for that. It doesn't apply to because bans. Yeah, because we have like the bands. For other issues, the other issues represent intrinsic as function and text. That's bad. Templates must only compete on function. John needs to be better for writing from that with the what Jared says. That's the function because vanity terms, which is functionally intrinsic, so they don't meet any definition. But I'll still answer stuff. Arbitrariness outweigh. I'll still do it. The proper arbitrariness outweigh. Textual competition is not resolution. Control rule that chooses the method to defeat catalans that exclude mandates of the plan of soul. Version of the resolution is deciding whether or not usage should strengthen. I mean debates are not or actions are mandates in the plan, not linguistic with semantic implications. That Erickson, if Woodward can stand up and identify single line in the rest topic or anything, debates used to guide prep, the forces textual linguistic, the benefits, please go add. Fortunately, for any team that has to be then on the other topic, the resolution only necessitates debates on a function, not text, and it lacks simply here right line, and that always guaranteeing averaging non-resolution competition standards gives after golden night, eliminate any negative argument, it's a slippery slope. The bad that's unfair, excluded, at ballot. Picks out of the right, that's unfair, excluded, at ballot. So you generous for any other form of the area pick. You get the point. Even this has been wise. I'm saying straight up this has bad, politics this has bad, or even conflict this has bad. Now I'll do germane, I'll do objectivity. Objectivity is a false line operation rejected. They link model in functional competition which triggers objective competition evaluates its often biggest from dictionary language from the text of meaning language functional is objective backed by evidence, which is easy to adjudicate. Some evidence process tags will mean the definition was counterparts check and background is zero. It's less relevant. The benefit is so contrived and getting on perfectly well. The human checks just evidence the teams have to be affirmative to enforce community data promoting topicality interpretations include back counterparts larger amount of returns. The evidence are realistic and time topics focus on best reaction environments like fats and reiteration as the study has one predictable market signals. This is vanilla strategy deficit solve argument. FTC choose things to be successful, kind of populating kind of advantage. That also based in the policy topic where generic is zero. Germana stuff is also zero because Germanus is not key. That ground is the only predictable standard. Germanus is completely arbitrary, which when Germanus is completely arbitrary, non-resolution, which means you can't vote for it. Now I'll do solvency proper. Gilbert card is zero. Just read the card. It doesn't say anything about their type of AI. It's definitely not key to journalism because the card specifically cites ChatGPT is the reason why they need remedies. But if we remove Gilbert of ChatGPT, that completely solves. The circumvention stuff wasn't right in the GDC check your flows, and it's also talking about specifically harmful AI, not all AI, which we are able to ban. It's just that we can't ban how harmful AI, but we can't ban all AI. The card is zero. It's not about spillover. It's not about spillover broadly. It just says that the needs to be respected, which we agree it does, but the act does so, and we definitely don't link to it because banning AI does not violate CIL because countries can ban this stuff they want, but declaring that it's key to CIL is, what gives us that benefit, and it clearly spills over. The drop in intellectual property schemes view this essential because of critical role of innovation and development. The cabinet said, the signals of the priority for overriding a key treaty, and say CL has already obligated action regardless of consent that lost applications broadly, that's true, John.
We can. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a sustainability ban.
Offense defense means drop case with some risk with deficit and defense that benefit is obviously go out. First is the drop grid scenario, she's status quo, AI development, triple electricity means outreach supply that collapses the grid. That's McMahon evidence. It's existential blackouts, create resource shortages and spread, cascading failures with existential risk management. That's a freedom of evidence. And the democracy effect, which is what I'll mainly go for. It's the funding journalism is key. The key internal link is about the remedies journalists receive. The quash evidence specifically says journalists are on the brink now. Yes, they're on the brink because of AI, but the journalism industry is failing. The counterplan just leaves journalists journalists, and a dying industry now, only giving them the ability to solve at best is better. It means that, democracy is stronger post-plan than it is under the counterplan, which is not because journalism is an impact, or because democracy is an impact filter and solves the impacts of the CIL, states off access from the press, like pandemics, climate change, human rights abuses, backsliding causes, power seeking, entrenchment, societal construction, that's lifeline bull, and that makes more, that makes us able to defend against terror attacks. There's no to our CIL terms of impact, but we'll do it here. It says specifically, Lafayette Bulletin specifically says makes us able to respond to pandemics. That's one of their impacts. The second is terrorism, but making stronger societies is key through democracy and stronger journalism means that we're able to more effectively respond to terrorist threats by increasing information and decreasing disinformation. Specifically, any risk that more money towards in journalist pockets is key means you definitely vote out. On ban AI will extend two key deficits. First is that they can't solve journalism. Sure, it's the root cause, but they drop the one where it clearly explained in the cross. Like the quash evidence says specifically that's on the brink. Only this monetary reward of the remedy brings it back to like the deep list China evidence is really specific about how the algorithmic destruction would bring a lot of money into journalists' pockets. The only reason they would want to litigate against big tech in the first place is because they would be able to receive the remedy which goes straight to their pockets and revitalizes the entire industry. The quash evidence talked about how they could use the threat of algorithmic destruction to negotiate licensing agreements which, quote, will revitalize the industry, meaning that even if the counterplay does solve the root cause, at least the journalism industry dying as it is now, people don't want it. But the remedy allows journalists to be revitalized, besides research and investigate more into democracies. We're preventing misinformation spread, which definitely filters out all the other stuff and is the key impact. The second is the Trump circumvention argument. Anything on 2 and circumvention is brand new. The 2AC definitely read this card. It's the Lutaro evidence. Showed me after the debate. It's legally impossible to ban AI. It's way too broad of a term. It's more of an abstract thought about what artificial intelligence is. But this is physically impossible for courts to enforce. This means 2 things. First is that it's impossible for the courts to enforce ban, meaning people litigate about what is and is not AI. Companies will say this is AI or this is not AI. It makes the solvency for the counterclaim way far down in the future, meaning that these data centers do not get rid of immediately, whereas only the act can solve. I mean, you have to further public evidence which says that every other minute that AI continues in these data centers continues feeling more grid unsustainability, which means you spill to this the grid impact through the circumvention argument, meaning that when it completely dropped, it's definitely too broad of a term, which means that the courts are unable to enforce, and some companies might get away with continued AI. Any risk of this means you definitely have to go after, especially then we'll do defense for that benefit here. But first, we'll say that the counterclaim definitely still links to that benefit because banning AI, they spent way too little time on this. It definitely violates CIL norms. They said their own evidence all talks about how it requires universal norms. The banning AI definitely violates CIL because it would mean that other countries that are relying on US AI, like OpenAI, and are literally investing in the US now, would ban it. And it means that those customary international laws would be destroyed. Even if you don't think that's super great, it's still some risk of defense on the actual CIL. You should think about CIL claims just the odd GI and assign zero risk. One is there's zero spillover. Banning copyright does not spill over to broader CIL norms. If anything, the plank above would shield. None of the evidence is in the context of the app at all, and a reaffirmation of CIL norms is so arbitrary. There's no guarantee people would even want to listen to US norms right now with Trump destroying the economy. And the IPP is wrong. It's because they say it's about key role in innovation, but the app does the opposite of this. So why would CIL be key in that instance? Obviously, ban AI claim would destroy it if it's key to innovation. 2, it's just a straight zero impact. Exceeding that the evidence of truancy does not answer any one of this card. Scratch any new 2 and R answers. A mechanism won't be enforced. Zero explanation or terminal impacts explained by the next. So you should feel very uncomfortable voting for them. 2's efficiency gets undercut. Detecting solvency for the counterplan. CIL has never been efficient at solving global problems, serious legal basis. 1AC, 1AR joiner says when international laws are assessed without a sound basis upon the consent of states to follow. The world likes AI and copyright, and they don't want to do the act. This frames the enforcement of being able to solve terror pandemics. 1 terror, they have no terminal impact to this. Overall counter-terror movements are definitely not key to the plan. If they ban AI, it seems like that would be an integral part of it. But either way, the democracy thing could filter out the terror thing in the first place. But 2, it's pandemics. The neck block drops necessity, disease impact defense. So you should assign a zero risk in the first place. It's not the job for the 1AR to say that because it's presumed it's true when the neck block does not answer and kicks out the impact. But either way, I've seen the Taylor evidence here talks about how biologically there's a trade-off between lethality and contagion.